my ID. Um, the essay I wrote was about philosophy. My assignment was to write a essay about what my philosophy was and what I viewed of the world. How I did this was that I took the philosophers I had learned in The Midnight Library by Matt Haig and did my own research about what I thought life meant. I did some looking online, did some research, looked through like YouTube and um, Britannica for philosophers and like what they studied. Most of my philosophers are based on compassion and being kind to others. Um, I was told to write down other examples of my own life that express how the philosophies impact my own life as well. What exactly makes a person do things that they think are correct? What do you think they do to tell them whether or not the thing they're going to do, such as writing a story for someone else, giving someone a gift, or abiding by the law, what do you think makes them do those things or prevent them from doing those bad things? One of the things is what they believe in, what their philosophy of life is. Uh, my personal philosophy is quite interesting because it is a mismatch of philosophies that I have accumulated over the years. No one fully understands life. Many people have tried to explain it, and many have tried to teach what makes a good life. In The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, Nora Seed, the protagonist, introduces many philosophers as the story progresses. Many of these philosophers I had never heard of and didn't share the same sentiment. Of the many philosophers that were presented, authors Schopenhauer's Compassion and Loss, David Hume's idea on the importance of life, and the reincarnation that Lexi Mezer summarizes are all ideals that I think represent life. Compassion is vital to making good choices for a person. Without compassion, people cannot connect to people and feel the happiness that one can feel from helping another. Near the beginning of the Midnight Library, Ash was kind to Nora when her cat Volturi died. While Nora was in a depressed and emotional state, Ash helped to bury the cat. Ash could have left Nora to bury the cat alone, but decided to help her instead. While it was a sad moment, it shows that Ash was a good person full of compassion. While I was in high school, I had unknowingly helped a friend through a tough time. I never really knew what was wrong with them, but I had talked to them with compassion and friendliness all the time. Later, they reached out to me to tell me that they were thankful for me. They were thankful for me being loyal to them and kind. I had acted on compassion without asking for more. In Morality from Compassion, Colin Marshall had summarized Igmar Parsons' words of empathy, who had said that empathy was also a factor to morality. Marshall summarized that morality should be based on empathy. Parsons' stance is a good way for morality to be decided, as morality should be a combination of things that a person acts on to be a good person. Your life's importance doesn't really matter or change when you think about the whole wide world. Sure, a clam is important, but at the same time, clam has about the same amount of importance as a snake or a lion. In the chapter titled The Many Lives of Nora Seed, Nora goes through multiple lives at the library that seemed, to her, the more lives she lived, the harder it was to feel at home anywhere. Each life may have been drastically different, but none of them were important or worth anything, since they were just a drop in the ocean of impossible lives. When I was younger, I had been bullied by my peers. At the time, I thought I just did something wrong, or that I shouldn't be with my peers. Now I realize that my life was neither more significant or insignificant compared to my peers. I was just there. I was just another person in the vast world of victims. While being put down in cynical is rather depressing, the fact still remains the same. A life doesn't change or evolve into something more important because someone is of the same importance. Loss is a horrible but important way to learn the worth of something. Loss can teach a person about the worth of things because it can show how much a person desires or needs the thing that has been lost or the person that has passed away. For example, near the end of the Midnight Library, Nora had lost Molly due to her realization that she wanted to live. At first, she didn't love her since she was uncomfortable with children. However, as time progressed, she soon loved Molly and was devastated when she was forced to leave the life of Molly. A couple of years ago, I lost my grandmother due to a car crash. I had never completely realized how much I had cared for her until I lost her, until I learned that she didn't want the care that she needed to stay alive. I was devastated by the loss and regretted not talking to her more. That was one instance that showed me that a person's worth isn't always apparent until they're gone. Without having the option of returning to an object or a person, shows just how much you value them. Reincarnation is not a new subject, but it is one that I think about more often. I don't really think of reincarnation from one specific religion. Lexi Meltzer's summary of Andy Weiner's The Egg is a summary of a type of reincarnation that I believe to be true. Lexi Meltzer, the author of the article that summarized the story, explains that this story is about how everyone is just one person living everyone's life. Anyone in the world that you interact with are all just you in a different form. Meltzer's explanation about the universe you explains Nora's different lives. This world, as we know it, said Meltzer, is made for you and you only. I rather like this idea that the world is just for one person and that one person is everyone who ever exists. This helps me find similarities with even the most remote strangers. It makes me feel more connected to the world knowing that at one point I was someone important. I was someone just there every day. Knowing that I was once everyone and will be everyone is a rather interesting thought that I soon enveloped as one of my own beliefs after reading The Egg. Arthur Schopenhauer, David Hume, and Lexi Meltzer have interesting philosophies about the world, and they align with my own thoughts on the world. Compassion can lead someone to connect with another person and form good relationships with that person. Even though having a good life with other people and doing what's right, it's kind of still meaningless since life is no more important than another. Loss, however, can teach a person about the importance of another person or an object. This loss can be a very valuable lesson. Reincarnation, as everyone, connects me to the even most distant strangers. All of these philosophies are what I believe about the world, just like Arthur Schopenhauer, David Hume, and Lexi Meltzer. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something interesting about what I think is correct. Maybe your philosophy isn't the same as mine. That's completely fine. We all have different thoughts. But maybe you should take the time to think about what you think is right about life. You could probably do your own research. You could just think about it. But really, I just think you don't have to, of course, but thinking about what your own philosophy is kind of a good idea. Since my own philosophy is a mismatch of objects and philosophies and beliefs, that's completely fine. My point is maybe try to figure out what yours is. Doesn't really matter where it came from. Just figure out what it is if you care. It's up to you.